Hello friends, let's discuss current affairs and today's first question relates to the annual misery index. Now this measures how miserable a society is, a country is. Now when we say country, we're talking about the people in the country. So as per the Steve Hankey's annual misery index that judges nations mainly on economic conditions, which country was named the most miserable last year? Well, that's Zimbabwe there. This is Zimbabwe. You can see it here. This is Zimbabwe. This is a country that became independent only in the early 1980s. Now, there are a lot of reasons as to why this is miserable, but there are a lot of countries in the world that are equally miserable. Of course, parameters remain the same, but some countries are slightly more miserable than others. But when you say misery, it's like you define misery. When you ask people, are you happy, they could ask you, define happiness, define happy. So happiness is different, misery is different, but then there are certain parameters. Now what exactly is pushing these countries to be miserable? There is a high degree of unemployment, a great deal of inflation. High interest rates would mean that ordinary people cannot borrow because they would have to pay high interest rates. And of course, because of apart from all these things, the fact remains that people are miserable because one, they are unemployed or earning pretty little, underemployed, that is. Two, there is high degree of inflation, so income is not sufficient to pay for necessities of life, and that's what's making life miserable. Now there are three countries here which are ranked in the bottom, most miserable, you could say, most miserable. Okay, one, Zimbabwe. Two, the country of Venezuela. You must have heard of this country. It's in South America. It's facing one of the highest inflation rates in the world. Officially it is about 1500%. Unofficially it could be around 3000%, my friends. So third one is Syria. Decades of war. There was a civil war that broke out here in 2011. So it's been more than a decade of civil war between the Shias and the Sunnis. The Sunnis are predominant in this country. About 74% of the population is Sunni Muslim, while the ruling party, the ruling power that is led by Bashar al-Assad, is a Shia. So there is this great deal of misery that has been brought by years of war, and apart from which, of course, there has been this recent earthquake that took the lives of thousands of people both in Turkey and Syria. So these are the top, three most miserable countries. Miserable, okay, and these are the people here are most unhappy. But then, who are the most happy people? Most happy, or you could say least miserable. So I'll give you a list here as well. One, Switzerland. Yeah. Two, Kuwait. These are all rich countries. So when people are rich, they don't really see. Many people say that money cannot buy happiness, but then most people who say that don't have money. Yeah, they don't have money, and money can buy happiness. If you really wanted, let's say, an iPhone, and you don't have money, you can't buy an iPhone, so that makes you miserable. But you have money, you fulfill your needs, that makes you happy. Of course, definition of happiness could vary, but we may say material goods and everything. If you want to buy some good stuff for your children, obviously you would need money for that. Yeah. You can't tell the child, look, money cannot, the child wants a toy, and you can't tell the child that, look, a toy won't bring you happiness. Money is not important, toy is not important. Can you tell that to a kid? Well, so third one is Ireland. So, and all of these countries are rich, very rich countries, and the fact remains that even if there is a high degree of inflation, money can buy good stuff. Money can help you live a comfortable life. Whereas if some countries experiencing high inflation and a high degree of unemployment or a great deal of underemployment, that would mean that there is no money on one side and two, there is high inflation. So that misery goes up substantially. Now, on this index, where does India stand? India stands 103. India stands 103. India is the 103 happiest nation. Now, why I don't believe this is true? Yeah, these are all nonsensical indexes. Why, as your teacher, I would tell you there is a reason behind this. See, indexes carry a lot of parameters, and parameters change. Now, what is a great quality of life in Zimbabwe may not be ordinary quality, may not even be an ordinary quality of life in say United States, in the United States or Canada or Ireland or Switzerland or Kuwait. But then you may say, yeah, well, that is true. Purchasing power changes, quality of life changes, cost of living changes. But why you should not trust these indexes? Because even if India had fared greatly in this, it wouldn't mean anything to anyone in the country, because people are happy or people are not happy. There's a simple way of looking at it. See, you must have heard of a country called Finland. Now, Finland, Finland, is a country in North Europe, Scandinavia. This is a country that is considered among the most welfare-oriented places on the planet. It's considered, it's a pretty rich country, and there is a great deal of freedom, great deal of individual freedom. They place a lot of emphasis on individual freedom, human rights, and all that stuff. Now, every year there is this report called the World Happiness Report, the World Happiness Index. The World Happiness Index has been topped by Finland for the last 6 years. Last six years, Finland has been the most happiest country as per the World Happiness Index. In this index, annual misery index, which is what is Finland's rank? 109, below India. Yes, 109. Finland ranks 109. So, the same country that's reported by one index to be the world's happiest country turns out to be a not so happy place in this index. So I think you should not take these indexes with the kind of seriousness they warrant. But yes, as far as exams are concerned, yes, we need to know this because they will help us answer questions. And that's all. That's what matters as far as an exam is concerned. Having information and using that information in the right situation. That's about it. Yeah. So that's a little about the annual misery index, and let me take you to the capitals of these places. Usually, I give you a little more than the capital, but here today I'll just focus on the capitals. Lebanon. Capital is Beirut. It's in West Asia, above Israel, below Turkey. Lebanon, Beirut. Sudan, you would find the capital is Khartoum. This is Sudan. You see, this is South Sudan. It actually written Zimbabwe. You can see the capital is Harare. Venezuela. Caracas, Syria, Damascus. Okay, guys, there we go. As part of India's Act East policy, not just Look East policy, Act East policy, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi announced a 12-point development plan for the Pacific Island nations. In this context, which of the following is not a Pacific Island nation? This is Fiji. See, this is Fiji here. These greens, these are Fiji. Then we have Samoa. It is here. This is a fairly decent map. I wouldn't say it's a great map. And because the fonts are very small, you can see this here. This is Kiribati here, Tonga. Yeah, is it mentioned somehow? No. These are Solomon Islands here. These are Solomon Islands, Marshall Islands. We are going to discuss these as well. This is Nauru. Yeah. This is what is called the Northern Mariana Islands or the Federated States of Micronesia. This is Tokelau. This is a very tiny place, Tokelau, Tokelau. This is Tuvalu. This is the this is the fourth smallest country in the world. The smallest, of course, as you know, is Vatican City. Then we have Monaco, which is about 2 square kilometers. Third would be Nauru. There is this country called Nauru here. I always get this is Nauru. This is the area is just 21 square kilometers. Yes, Nauru's area is 21 square kilometers, and it is the world's smallest republic. See, Vatican is not a republic because there is no election there except for the Pope, which is again, it's a small council that elects him. Then we have Monaco, which is a kingdom, principality. So Nauru, with 21 square kilometers, is the smallest republic in the world. You have Tuvalu, and this is Vanuatu. See, this is Vanuatu. Okay. Port Vila is the capital of Vanuatu. Port Vila. Fiji, Suva. Samau, Apia. It's a very tiny place. Samau, it's really small. Then you have this. Hey, there is Kingston here, but this is the island of Norfolk, Norfolk. But remember, Norfolk Islands is owned by New Zealand, and Kingston is also the name of the capital of the Caribbean island called Jamaica. Jamaica. Okay. So, we are not. Jamaica is in the Caribbean Sea, between America, what you call the West Indies, between North and South America. You have the sea called the Caribbean Sea. There you would find Jamaica. Marshall Islands. These are Marshall Islands here. Where are they? Yeah, here. And this is not the capital, Majuro. This is a major island. The capital is a small. It has a very different kind of name. You don't really require it. It's called Delap Uliga Jariat. Not all cities are important. Okay, but look at all these are tiny places. Most of these are under the control of either Australia or New Zealand or some foreign country like Britain. You see this. This is US, yeah, UK, US. Yeah, this is how they are. This is French Polynesia. Okay, this is Samoa. You see this tiny place here, Samoa. This is APIA. I have great fascination for all these places. I have gone through the entire articles on Wikipedia about each of these places. Yeah, like for Solomon Islands, this is the capital is Honiara. Yeah, Honiara. They were found by a Portuguese guy, Pedro Cabral, but then he didn't name them after himself. Someone else did. Let's go from here. The famous Kapileshwara temple will be added to the protected monuments list of the Archaeological Survey of India. This temple is in Bhubaneswar. This is dedicated to Bhagwan Shiv. So it's also called the Kapileshwara Shiva temple. Okay. This Kapileshwara comes from the name of the sage Kapila. Sage Kapila, who is said to be the founder of the Samkhya school of philosophy. Samkhya school of philosophy. So, this is not much to discuss here. Bhubaneswar, but we could bring in something. Bhubaneswar plus Konark plus Puri are together called Swarna golden Tribhuja triangle. Swarna Tribhuja golden triangle. Golden triangle. Bhubaneswar is as a city. It didn't exist till about 1946. There is Cuttack. Cuttack was around, but the government of India and the government of Odisha, government of India rather, wanted to build a new capital for this province here, and they, they took this, they solicited the services of a guy called Otto Königsberger. So Otto Königsberger designed, planned Bhubaneswar. The Bhubaneswars were created in 1946 by Otto Königsberger. He was a German. And Bhubaneswar is named after Bhagwan Shiv. Tribhuvan. It's Bengali. So Bhuvan. So Tribhuvan is Bhubaneswar. That's how it is named. Bhubaneswar, Tribhuvaneshwar. It's named after Bhagwan Shiv. Which institution published a report titled Turning of the Tap, How the World Can End Plastic Pollution and Create a Circular Economy. Well, the UNEP, the answers already mentioned there. So why, what does the report say? How do we cut down on plastics pollution? How can we tackle the plastics problem? So it talks of four things. One, the 3 R's we know, reuse. We talk about, often we talk about reuse, we talk about recycle. These are very famous. This is what all of us have learned in our childhood. And reorient, now they are talking about reorientation and diversifying from these technologies. Diversify. SIFI. Diversify. So reuse, recycle, reorient and diversify away from these. So 4 ways basically. Reuse the plastic, recycle into better components or some other components, the leftover and everything, and reorient policies and diversify away from this particular use of plastic, so that we can bring down the incidence of plastics pollution. A lot of plastics are not biodegradable. They kind of live on for hundreds of years, and that's dangerous for the environment. The World Meteorological Organization has just today a new Secretary General. We will discuss this in the next class. Then confirmation is yet to come. But I know just a while ago I read that an Argentinian diplomat has been elected as the chief of the World Meteorological Organization. Now, coming to the UNEP is headquarters, Geneva. This United Nations Environment Program is headquartered in Denmark. It's headquartered in Nairobi, which, as you know, is the capital of Kenya. Coming to the UNDP, it is NYC, New York City. Okay. So I guess that should wait. In partnership with the SaaS firm Plotch, which what is SaaS? Software as a service. Which bank launched an open network for digital commerce? ONDC focused. I think it should have been like this. ONDC's full form is Open Network for Digital Commerce. Okay, this is how it should be. Focused payment solution called NodePay. Now, IDFC First Bank has come up with this. The CEO is V. Vaidyanathan. HDFC Bank, Sashidhar Jagadishan. IDBI Bank, Rakesh Sharma. Okay, he is the CEO. Dinesh Khara, SBI. ICICI Bank, Sandeep Bakshi, BAKSHI. The open network digital commerce is run by a guy called Tampi Koshi. Tampi Koshi. Tampi Koshi. Which country declared a state of animal health emergency for 180 days? That's about 6 months in response to the country's first ever detection of the highly pathogenic avian influenza virus in world birds. See, these kinds of viruses have been there for a long time, but this is now killing a lot of birds in the countryside, in the forested areas and everything, because it's wild birds. Cool. So Brazil has done this, and Brazil is a mega diverse country. There is Colombia, there is Peru, there is India. These are called mega diverse countries. Papua New Guinea, you have Indonesia, Brazil. These countries have a great deal of flora and fauna, great diversity of flora and animal and plant life. So Brazil, then we have Thailand. Okay, shall we look at something else about these places? Brazil's president is Luis Inácio Lula da Silva. Luis Inácio Lula da Silva. Okay. Indonesia, Joko Widodo. Philippines, Marcos Bongbong. Indonesia, oh, we mentioned it. China, we know, most of us know, or rather everyone knows. Xi Jinping is the president, and in this case I will bring in more. Li Qiang is the prime minister. Li Qiang is the prime minister of China. Thailand's king, because they have had an election recently. So coalition talks are on, and we do not know as to who will become the prime minister, replacing the outgoing guy Prayut Chan-o-cha. So the king's name is Vajiralongkorn. Or simply put, Maha Vajiralongkorn. Okay. To champion the 3 R's of waste management, reduce, reuse and recycle, which ministry has launched a mega campaign named Meri Life, Mera Swachh Shahar. Okay, there it goes. And who is the Minister of Housing and Urban Affairs? Hardeep Singh Puri. Hardeep Singh Puri. Incidentally, ladies and gentlemen, he also happens to be the Minister of Petroleum and Natural Gas. Petroleum and Natural Gas. So 2 crucial ministries are headed by Hardeep Singh Puri, Housing and Urban Affairs plus Petroleum and Natural Gas. What about Women and Child Development? Women and Child Development Ministry is headed by Smriti Irani, who also heads the Minority Affairs Ministry. Okay, so 2 ministries for Smriti Irani as well. Ministry for Women and Child Development and Ministry for Minority Affairs. Then Tribal Affairs. Arjun Munda. Munda, as you know, is a major tribe in Jharkhand, Bihar area. Minister of Forest, Environment and Climate Change. Let me clear this. Ashwini Vaishnav. He also heads 2 other ministries. One is I'm so sorry. I'm extremely sorry, my friends. Ashwini Vaishnav is the Railways Minister. I'm so sorry. Let's complete this. Railways Minister. and he is also the Minister for Communications. He also heads the Ministry of what is it called? Electronics and Information Technology. Electronics and Information Technology. Electronics and Information Technology. So, what about the Minister of Environment, Forest and Climate Change? This is a ministry headed by Bhupinder Yadav. Bhupinder Yadav. Bhupinder Yadav. He also holds the Ministry of what is it called? Labor and Employment. Labor and Employment. So, Labor and Employment. Bhupinder Yadav is the Union Minister of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, as well as the Union Minister of Labor and Employment. Okay. A giant tree named Great Grandfather, believed to be more than 5,000 years old, is in the process of being recognized as the oldest. This is in Chile. This is in Chile, South America. The girth of the tree is 4 meters. 4 meters, considerably larger than what is usually 1 meter kind of thing. And this is said to be, as of today, 5,484 years old. Yes, 5,484 years old. And I'll tell you something more. How do they find the age of a tree? Most of you would know this, that the scientists, they count this number of rings on a cross section of the trunk of a tree, and this ascertaining the age of a tree by counting the number of rings in a trunk is called dendrochronology. Dendrochronology. Okay, dendro means tree. The study of trees is more or less dendrology. Chron is time, basically. So, dendrochronology is a study of ascertaining of the age of a tree by counting the number of rings. Some trees have squares instead of rings. So, one ring stands for a year, basically. Okay. Would you know the capitals? Santiago is a Spanish name. So is Mexico. Again, Mexico City here. Venezuela we know. China we know. Beijing. Canada is Ottawa, the world's second largest country by area. Okay. Sanchar Sathi is the name of the portal launched by the Department of Telecommunications to help users track their lost or stolen mobile phones. Under Sanchar Sathi, the government has launched, the Department of Telecommunications has launched 2 things. One is CEIR, the other is TAFCOP. What is CEIR? You could write this: Central Equipment Identity Register. Central Equipment Identity Register. Okay. Now, what does it do? It actually helps you locate, let's say, it helps you locate a stolen mobile, a lost mobile, and you could block the mobile. If someone's stolen it, you could block its usage by the other person. How can you block? You could block through by submitting the IMEI number. What is IMEI number? You could write this: International Mobile Equipment Registry. So, identity. International Mobile Equipment Identity. Equipment identity. Each mobile phone has a unique IMEI number. Now, once we feed this number that look, my mobile phone's been stolen, and this is the IMEI number, through the SARE network, that is a Central Equipment Identity Register. Once you log in the complaint, it tracks where's the phone. In case the phone is switched off, it could be traced. So if the phone is switched on, it could be traced. So someone has stolen their phone and they have switched it on or kept it on. You could actually know the physical location of the phone, where is it. Apart from this, now once, let's say, sometimes it does happen that we forget where we have kept our phone, or we lost the phone, we get it back, and we in the meanwhile had got it blocked, but now the phone's with us back. So what we could do is, you can get it unblocked through this, this facility. Yes, for normal use, you could get it unblocked. So this is under CEIR. What is TAFCOP? Now sometimes we have a number of phone numbers on our name. Sometimes you may have had one in college, you may have moved to some other number, something else, you change your number. Now, despite your best actions, the old numbers is still operational. So what you could do is, under TAFCOP, you could actually register that, you could know how many mobile connections are listed under your name. Okay, and in case you wish to do away with one or all of those other numbers, you could do that as well. Once you log in the complaint, actions taken. Okay, and what is TAFCOP? You could write this: Telecom Analytics. Telecom Analytics for fraud management and consumer protection. Telecom Analytics for fraud management and consumer protection. Which of the following announced a 100 days 100 pays campaign for banks to trace and settle the top 100 unclaimed deposits of every bank in every district of the country next 100 days. So what exactly is an unclaimed deposit? The RBI defines unclaimed deposit as as a balances. The RBI defines unclaimed unclaimed money, or what is called unclaimed deposit, as balances in current affairs and savings accounts. Current account, no, I'm so sorry, not current affairs, current account and savings account. Yeah, they're called CASA accounts. And okay, these are balance in CASA accounts that have not been inactive, that are inactive for 10 years, or those deposits in FDs which have not been claimed, FDs which have not been claimed within 10 years of date of maturity. Okay, so let's say I have fixed deposit. 8 years back, I put the money, I forgot it. That money is kept safe by the bank, and the bank, I can go and claim this money. But then, what is the total amount of such unclaimed deposits in all these accounts? Term deposits, savings account, current account, they are called demand deposits. 35,010 crore. Take 35,000 crore. So a total of 35,000 crore rupees is left unclaimed in current account, savings account and fixed deposits. Yeah. So the RBI says, let's get this done. Identify whose money is it, and let's get it done. Exim Bank is Export Import Bank of India. It's run by Harsha Bangari. MD is Harsha Bangari. Asian Development Bank is headquartered in Manila. It's run by Masat Sugu Asakawa. SIDBI, Small Industries Development Bank of India. S. Sivasubramaniam Raman. Sivasubramaniam Raman. Reserve Bank of India, we know. World Bank, yes. Ajay Banga. Ajay Banga. Ajay Banga. Which city will host the 5th edition of the Global Ayurveda Festival in December this year? Sorry. Thiruvananthapuram, the capital of Kerala. Yeah, it's home to a lot of Kerala is home to major practice of Ayurveda. And one great temple you would find here is the Sri Ananta Padmanabha Swami temple. Sri Ananta Padmanabha Swami Mandir. Madurai is home to the great Meenakshi Mandir. Meena, she is the avatar of Ma Parvati. Meena is fish, Akshi is eye, the fish eyed. Her husband, Bhagwan Shiv, is represented as Sundarishwar, standing next to her in the Garbhagriha. Meenakshi Mandir. Yeah. Great places to visit, my friends. Which is the only Indian companies or corporate to feature in the Boston Consulting Group's list of top 50 most innovative companies in the world. Tata Group, 20. Okay, why don't you write this? BCG, most innovative firms, top 3. Top 3. What's the name? Number 1 is Apple. Apple. Then number 2 is Tesla. 3 is Amazon. 4 is Alphabet. 5 is Microsoft. Top 3. India, rank Tata. Only Indian company here, rank Tata. Then highest ranked non-American companies. Is it Samsung? Yeah, it is Samsung. Yes, Samsung, 7th. Worldwide 7, world number 7. But when it comes to non-Asian companies, non-American companies, it's number 1. Number 1. So, top 3 in the world, most innovative firms. Tata ranks 20th. Most innovative non-American firm, Samsung, in the 7th place. Adani Group is headed by Gautam Adani. Reliance Industries, Mukesh Ambani. Aditya Birla Group is headed by K.M. Birla. Kumar Mangalam Birla. Kumar Mangalam Birla. Larsen and Toubro, S.N. Subramanian. S.N. Subramanian. Yeah. The WHO launched a global network named IPSN to detect and prevent infectious disease threats. This stands for International Pathogen. Okay, it's mentioned already. It sounds like IB, ISBN, which is the International Standard Book Number. Pretty much similar, this. WHO headquartered in Geneva. It was started on the 7th of April 1948, and this is the reason it's observed as World Health Day. World Health Day. And its chief is Dr. Tedros Adhanom. Dr. Tedros Adhanom. Which corporate giant was imposed with a record $1.3 billion privacy fine by the European Union over data transfer to the US? Meta is the owner of brands like products, companies like Facebook, WhatsApp. There is a company called Oculus, which is a virtual reality company. It owns Instagram. They mine data. When we log in, they know they have data about us, and they use this data to know our likes, dislikes, something that we've been looking for on the net and everything, and they tailor make advertisements to, like that. So does Google actually. Google is owned by a company called Alphabet, and both are headquartered in the same place called Mountain View, California. Mountain View, California, and both are headed by the same guy, Sundar Pichai. Sundar Pichai. Twitter is headquartered. Okay, I didn't mention. Twitter is enough. Twitter, it is Elon Musk. Elon Musk, and this is headquartered in San Francisco. San Francisco. Meta, since I did not mention Meta's head office, it is in a place called Menlo Park, California State, US. Since these are all American companies, we don't have to repeatedly write United States. Microsoft, headed by Satyanarayana Nadella, and it's headquartered in a place called Redmond, Washington State, US. What about IBM? IBM is headquartered in Armonk, New York State. It's run by Arvind Krishna. Which bank launched a digital onboarding platform named Sarathi, a point of sale terminal for merchants? It's all simple. Axis Bank. So point of sale is where you use your debit card, credit card and all that. So basically a merchant. Axis Bank is run by Amitabh Chaudhary. Axis Bank, Amitabh Chaudhary. Yes Bank, Prashant Kumar. IndusInd Bank, Sumant Katpalia. Kotak Mahindra Bank, Uday Kotak. Sure. The Border Roads Organization successfully rescued 76 tourists who were stranded at the Baralacha Pass, which is in the Jaskar range in Himachal Pradesh, Ladakh region. Okay, what's the altitude? How high is it? 4,850 meters, my friends. And just below this Baralacha Pass, you will find the headwaters. Headwaters is where the waters start, where the river starts. Headwaters of River Chenab. Now the River Chenab, gets its headwaters from two separate rivers, Chandra and Bhaga. So they go further and merge and becomes Chenab. Okay. In fact, the old name of Chenab is Chandrabhaga. Karakoram range, you will find that you must be familiar with this name called K2 mountain. K is Karakoram. Okay. Which country hosted the third India Pacific Islands Cooperation Summit? Papua New Guinea. Papua New Guinea has come multiple times in this, in fact, 3 times, I guess, in this session. Papua New Guinea, it's a small place. Sorry, it's a peninsular place, or you could say it's on an island called New Guinea. It's located on an island called New Guinea, but the issue here is the island is located like this. The island is like this. Okay, it's a rough figure. Okay, the island is like this. Now, thing is, this is PNG and this is Indonesia. The island is called New Guinea. So Port Moresby is capital, and the Prime Minister is James Marape. James Marape. See, this is a dominion of Britain. Like Australia, New Zealand, Canada, all three chose at the time of their independence to retain the British monarch. So did Jamaica, and so did Papua New Guinea. All of these have the British monarch, Charles III, as head of their own country. Okay. Anthony Albanese is Prime Minister here. Australia. New Zealand, Chris Hipkins. Japan, we know. In Taiwan, the president is Tsai Ing-wen. Tsai Ing-wen. In which state did the Indian Army conduct a joint flood relief exercise named Exercise Jal Rahat? Assam. It was conducted by the Gajraj Corps. The P and S are silent. The Gajraj Corps of the Indian Army on the banks of river Manas, Manas River in Assam. Okay, I guess that should be. If you want to be specific, it conducted this exercise at the Hagrama Bridge. Hagrama Bridge on River Manas in Assam. Every year, Assam is bedeviled by massive floods, in the Brahmaputra, my friends. So this kind of exercises help in fine-tuning responses. How do authorities respond? How do emergency personnel respond? How do ordinary people respond to the threat and eventually threat of floods, basically. Okay. Which country bestowed the Grand Companion of the Order of Logohu on India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi? Papua New Guinea. Again, it has come. See, there is this intense competition happening between China and the West in Pacific Ocean, and India has also jumped in. India is worried about the expanding, military ambitions of China. This is a favorite subject. One of my favorite subjects to discuss China and all, but given that our scope is limited, I'll just touch and go. So, the Chinese have had a defense pact, logistics pact with Solomon Islands. Last year they signed it. And now the Americans have also recently signed a pact with Papua New Guinea. India is also trying to deepen relationship with these countries. India says that we are going to treat you equal, not as subordinates, which pretty much is what the crux of the Chinese policy is. They may say something that we are all equal, but they never treat anyone as equal. They have always had this belief that they are above everyone else. Okay. So India is extending a lot of help. India is building a lot of infrastructure in Papua New Guinea, and Papua New Guinea is the third largest island country in the world. The largest is Indonesia, second largest is Madagascar, third is New Guinea, Papua New Guinea. It has more than 845 languages. There is a saying in Hindi, the language changes, वाणी बदलती है आर्ट कोर्स, हर आर्ट कोर्स में वाणी बदलती है, it is said that, and it is true in this country, at least in this country. Okay, now coming to these choices here, where is this? The choices here, where did I keep it? I think it's just gone somewhere. Okay, it's here. Age is catching up fast. Solomon Islands, Honiara. A while ago I mentioned the capital. Nauru. Nauru is one of the only two countries in the world to not have a capital city. Yes, two countries in the world do not have a capital city. One is Nauru, the other is Switzerland. Yes. You may think, what about Bern in Switzerland? It's considered the capital. Yes. De facto, there is Bern. That is where the government sits. Bern. But de jure, by law, there is no capital in Switzerland. So Switzerland doesn't have a capital. Okay. So does the island of Nauru. No capitals. Tonga. I think we discussed this a while ago. Nuku Alofa. Nuku Alofa. Tuvalu, Funafuti. These are tiny countries. We saw them a while ago in the map. Which country hosted the 44th edition of the coveted annual Consumer Policy Forum, ISO Kopalko plenary in May this year? India did that, New Delhi. And ISO is International Standards Organization. International Standards Organization. Kopalko is the Committee on Consumer Policy. Committee on Consumer Policy. Consumer policy. So the idea is to come up with uniform standards around the world for consumer protection, bring in standardization in laws that would help protect consumer interests. That's the idea. Yeah. So we've been discussing these countries for an age now. Israel, Iran, Iraq. Chalo, Iraq will bring in. Iraq, the Prime Minister is Mohammed Shia Al-Sudani. Mohammed Shia Al-Sudani. Mohammed Shia Al-Sudani. Which club won the 2022-23 English Premier League football championship? Manchester City won it. And number 2 was, if I'm not wrong, Arsenal. Number 3 was United. So 1, 2, 3. And the highest goal scorer was a guy called Erling Haaland. Of Manchester City. He scored 36 goals. 36 goals. Erling Haaland, 36 goals. Which country signed a defense and maritime surveillance agreement with the Papua New Guinea? I told you, United States. A while ago I mentioned this, that the US signed a deal, sometime earlier this year, and China did with the Solomon Islands last year. Now the US is worried that China may turn the Pacific Ocean into a Chinese lake. So the Americans, the Australians, the Indians have all become overactive in warding off the Chinese threat in this region. So by signing deals, agreements, trade, military, supply, logistics, everything, every kind of agreement with these tiny countries. And these countries say our major concern is climate change. And of course, not much could be done in the short term as far as climate change is concerned. In terms, you can't really see, you can't stop a glass from melting now. But in the long term, things could change. By adoption of better policies, better climate technologies and all that. The Union Health Minister Dr. Mansukh Mandavia represented India at the World Health Assembly in May in Geneva. I think we discussed this. Brussels is home to the European Union and NATO. European Union and NATO. Paris, UNESCO. United Nations, New York, Geneva, plenty of places. Okay, I guess. With state government recently launched the patch reporting app to make roads free of potholes in the state. Uttarakhand did this, but there are potholes everywhere. In fact, if you go by, there are a lot of places in India where there are no roads, there are only potholes. So we have a road by definition. On paper, it's a road, but there is no road. Okay. Uttarakhand, it has two capitals. One is Dehradun, the other is Gairsen. Sure. Chief Ministers not really required now. The Eurasian Economic Union decided to expedite the proposed free trade agreement with India that would give Indian companies market access to very resource-rich Eurasia, Europe plus Asia. Identify the countries, all of them actually, all of these. And one more, there are 3 observers. You could write this: 3 observer states. 3 observers. 1, Cuba. 2, Uzbekistan. 3, Moldova. Cuba, Uzbekistan, Moldova. These are all former republics in the Soviet Union, provinces in the Soviet Union, my friends. Okay, and the last thing you could write is the name of the Secretary General of the Eurasian Economic Union, Mikhail Myasnakovich of Belarus. Myasnakovich. I should be there. Capitals, not really. Chalo, some other time we'll discuss. Too much of stuff. Thank you for being here. Have a lot of fun. That's all from me, Bharat C. Jain. Stay curious, my friends. Thank you for being here. Thank you.